What is up, Earth's mightiest subscribers? It's Ernie, Blerd without fear. Welcome back to the channel. Okay, so today's video, we are going to be talking about Deadpool number 6 by Kelly Thompson and Kevin LaBranda. And in today's video, we are going to talk about why Deadpool has yet to be allowed on Krakoa, and why this has started an international incident between Krakoa itself and one of the most potentially dangerous nations the X-Men could ever make an enemy out of. That's right, we're going to talk about all this and more right now. But first, wash your damn hands and let's hit that intro.
Word to wise, grass only greener when it's fertilized. Gave them truth in these songs, they prefer to lies. Destiny beautiful, adrift in her purple eyes. You can't see me, you Stevie, wondering how I reach more evolutions than Evie and make it look easy.
Before we get started, if you want to see more awesome comic book videos like this one, it only takes 2 clicks to become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers. Click.
Now, admittedly, I've actually been a little bit behind on Kelly Thompson's Deadpool run. I was actually really excited to see what she could do with this because I've really been enjoying her Captain Marvel series up to this point, and it just kind of struck me as odd that I hadn't read this book. And then suddenly, this one came across my table, and I thought to myself, you should probably talk about this. So, here we are. If you have not been keeping up with Kelly Thompson's run on Deadpool, what you really need to know to not be as confused, the monsters of the Marvel Universe have taken over Staten Island, basically because there was some kind of ancient legal claim and some kind of loophole they were able to reveal that basically says, hey, Staten Island is ours. Now, basically, Staten Island has become the new Monster Island, and it just so happened that Deadpool was hired to kill the, at the time, Monster King, and of course, since Deadpool did kill such king, he, by monster law, becomes the new king of the monsters. Fast forward a little bit, Deadpool, he's still trying to get used to the whole idea of being the king of the monsters. He's still trying to get used to his subjects. He's trying to get to know all of his people. And it just so happens that Deadpool has a little bit of a vendetta against the X-Men right now because since Dawn of X, since House of X, all that stuff, you know, the X-Men, they have their own island. No humans are really allowed on it. He's jealous because the X-Men have not extended him an invite. Now, some would probably say, and I've actually seen this in previous comments for some, you know, the X-Men videos I have done, especially the House of X ones, people were always asking me like, oh, well, what's gonna happen if Deadpool shows up? Well, it just so happens we now know in this video what's gonna happen because that's the kickoff point. Deadpool is pissed off because they haven't invited him. Now, theoretically, this is perfectly normal because Deadpool, contrary to popular belief, is not a mutant. A lot of people think that, and there's even a joke in this comic, which I actually thought was amazing. I love this joke. I even posted it on Twitter shortly before recording this. It points out that, yeah, a lot of people think because of the Deadpool movies, Deadpool is a mutant, which is actually not true. He is not a mutant. He is a human mutate, just like Mr. Sinister, just like the Fantastic Four, just like Spider-Man, just like the Incredible Hulk. He got his powers due to an outside mutagenic agent. That does not make him a mutant, no matter how much he pals around with the X-Men or used to be an X-Force villain or any of that. The point of the matter is he's not a mutant, therefore he was not extended an invitation. Now, that said, he is now going to use one of his Monster Island subjects, a character by the name of Jelby, who is a mutant, to get through one of their Krakoan gates. Jelby has the ability to essentially stuff things inside of himself, and yeah, Bob's your uncle. And that's what he's gonna do. He is going to sneak onto Krakoa, and it goes about the way you would expect. The X-Men don't want him there, mostly because he basically invaded. He is infiltrating, and they weren't really that pleased about the fact that he did it. The X-Men don't even initially attack him right away. They're trying to figure out why he's there, and of course he starts hurling insults, and I find it very funny that a lot of the stuff he's saying is very similar to some things that a lot of the Dawn of X critics, you know, the X-Men, because now that they are a nation, they're no longer the heroes that the world used to know. People have been, you know, touting this, saying, oh, the X-Men, they're fascists now, they're villains now, and that's basically what Wade is saying, because, you know, he's like, oh, hey, I have cancer, you guys have drugs that can cure it, and I want those drugs drugs, and I want to be invited. I want to be invited to the cookout. And it's like, no, you're not invited to the cookout because of reasons. Magic does attack him, but that's not where the fight begins. You see, they take him to where he wants to go. They take him to Emma Frost, and Emma Frost, she admits that, yeah, sure, we should have extended you an invitation. Rogue is absolutely correct. Rogue did make a case saying that yes, you should be invited, and Emma Frost agrees, but there's a couple of problems with Deadpool's request. The Krakoan drugs they have are great. They can do a great many things, but cancer is still one of those things that they can't fix. They can technically heal the cancer, but not completely get rid of it. He could probably prolong it, most likely, but he's not gonna get rid of it 100%. Now, as for his unlimited Krakoa pass and wanting to have a summer house just like Cyclops and all this other stuff, Emma can't give that to him, and she will not give that to him because at the end of the day, he is dangerous. She is not going to give him an unlimited pass on Krakoa. He can come and visit and hang out as often as he likes, but he is not welcome to live there because he is an unknown entity. He is a variable that they just don't want to take a chance on. And I know some people are going to come out of the woodwork and say, oh, but they invited Apocalypse, they invited Mr. Sinister, they invited the Acolytes, they invited, so and so and so and so and so on. But the thing is, they weren't people that were, I don't know, killing machines with one of the fastest healing factors in the history of comics, who just so happens to be so mercurial and so crazy that you can't predict what they're gonna do next. They don't want to invite somebody like there because that would be dangerous. We actually talked about this during the Hellions #2 video, where they talked about whether or not it was a good idea to bring back the original recipe Marauders, and they used Scalp Hunter, which actually, by the way, he no longer goes by that name. He is now called Grey Crow, but they debated on whether or not to bring them back, and they used him as kind of a litmus test for it. And they even had the same issue with some of the other original recipe Hellions, even Empath, trying to decide whether or not it was worth having him on the island, and if he was more trouble than he would be worth. And that's exactly what they're looking at with Wade. Because at the end of the day, yeah, he's not even a mutant, so it's not like he has a birthright to be there. Yeah, he is an X-Men ally, but that doesn't necessarily mean he gets a free pass to come and go as he pleases. Though, once again, I think the offer the X-Men make him is actually quite generous. Yeah, you can't have a home here, but you can come and hang out. What makes things worse, though, is when Wade tries to steal one of the Krakoan flowers for himself. Now, right here, this is where I'm like, okay, look, the X-Men have been outside of Magic elbowing him in the face, just for talking kind of spicy. Outside of that, the X-Men have been more than hospitable here. Here is where I'm like, okay, Deadpool, you're way out of line here, dude. You need to chill out. Chill the out. Yeah, they have some business because, of course, it's superheroes. Superheroes meet each other, whether they're friends or foes. It doesn't really matter. They always have to have some kind of a battle, and they do. And it's one that Deadpool is not going to win because he is going to get his fade run because he is up against too many hitters. I mean, yeah, Storm gets kind of dicked over a little bit, but honestly, it's at this point. Storm has been around since 1975. If she hasn't been a part of somebody's comic relief at some point, honestly, it was going to happen now, if not sooner. I know some people won't like that opinion, but I'm sorry, but you sometimes have to be comic relief. It just is what it is. It doesn't matter if you're black, white, blue, green, purple, or periwinkle. I don't care. It's just gonna happen. Get over it. That said, Rogue actually is the one who is the voice of reason here. She steps up and says, you know what? You're right. This is all blown out of line. Here, you tried to steal the flower. Okay, that wasn't cool. But you know what? How about this? Just keep it. You can have it. Because Wade's whole thing was that, he was pissed off that Emma wouldn't give him a flower to keep on Staten Island. That was one of the reasons he stole it. But the thing is, Emma had a point. There are 2 flowers on Manhattan, and Staten Island isn't that far from Manhattan. She's like, you can take a ferry to the gate. It's not that big a deal. But Rogue goes ahead and says, you know what? Screw it. You keep the freaking flower and everything is cool. You can come and hang out whenever you like. We'll smooth this whole thing out. There won't even be any problems. And of course, Wade thinks they're doing this out of pity, but at the end of the day, that's not the case. It's because the X-Men do recognize that he is an ally. He is family. He may not be a mutant, but he's not their enemy. But of course, Deadpool, he's in his feelings, he's butthurt, so he's not trying to hear any of this. And what makes matters worse is that Jelby doesn't want to leave with him. Jelby wants to stay on Krakoa because, well, Jelby is a mutant and Jelby knows that they will be treated kindly there. And of course, Wade is going to spout the same things, the same criticisms that the so-called X-Men fans have had about the X-Men comics. But the second Wade gets home, he's still salty. And now, granted, his little sharky creature, Jeffrey, did actually manage to steal one of the Krakoan flowers, so he can technically make a gate where he is at. But what he decides to do is, since he is not, quotey fingers allowed on Krakoa, he is going to make Monster Island, new Monster Island, just like Krakoa. If humans aren't allowed on Krakoa, mutants aren't allowed on New Monster Island. And it's just like, it's one of those things. It's actually such a silly thing because this isn't going to spawn anything. This isn't going to be a war that's going to happen later. And if it is, it's going to be played entirely for laughs, if it is even played out at all. But I just think it's funny that he is just being so petty boots about this that it's not even funny. So yeah, if you're wondering, you probably see some stuff going around, people talking about, oh man, Deadpool just declared war on Krakoa. It's like, not really. This is just Deadpool being Deadpool. Yeah, they'll probably have some little offshoot, Elseworld style, alternate universe or, non-canon storyline where this pays some dividends later. And maybe it will in this series, but we all know how Deadpool books usually go. They usually don't really matter. I mean, not say they don't matter, but they usually don't hold that much, canonical weight. But anyways, I don't know. You guys let me know if you think that Deadpool was in the right. Was he in the wrong? Were the X-Men in the right? Were the X-Men in the wrong? I don't know. I mean, hey, you already know where I stand on it. I actually think Deadpool was all the way out of pocket on this one, but you let me know. Wash your damn hands and sound off in the comments.
So hey, you made it to the end of the video. Awesome for you. If you enjoyed this video, and if you made it this far, I don't see how you didn't, do me a favor. Hulk smash that like button. And if you want to see more awesome videos like this one, make sure you click subscribe so you can become one of Earth's mightiest subscribers, and tap that bell so you know when I post up. Also, feel free to go check out my Patreon, where if you chuck in a buck, you can get early access to most of my videos up to a week early. And if you have time, make sure you swing by nerd901.com, where you can find more of my content as well as other amazing stuff. Anyways, until next time, I love you 3000 plus ultra.